It's yet another exciting edition of the Unfiltered podcast with me, Nima Jadama. This edition is actually a special edition, a threefold interview series where I will be speaking to three innovators across the East and Southern Africa that are actually giving Africa a new image. And today, my guests are one of those innovators who are not just talking about change, but building it from the ground up. Today's episode is actually part of, like I said, a special series in partnership with the Friedrich Naumann Foundation in South Africa. We would actually be spotlighting change makers who are transforming narratives and reshaping Africa's future from within. My guests today are inspiring innovators from Kenya and Tanzania. Beth Wambui Mwangi, founder and CEO of MyWagePay, a fintech company on a mission to drive financial wellness and economic empowerment across Africa. Also joining me is one of the trailblazers behind the Mapingo app, a revolutionary digital platform transforming how women in Tanzania save, budget, and access financing. Agnes Mololi is the CEO and co-founder of co-founder of the Mipango app. Today with these innovative women who are actually giving Africa a new image, we will be talking about power of financial inclusion, their journey as women entrepreneurs in Africa's fintech space, and their vision for a digital economy that truly works for everyone, especially targeting especially targeting companies, women, and the youthful population. Stay tuned because this is an episode you actually don't want to miss. Viele Menschen in Afrika, besonders junge Menschen und Frauen, haben oft keinen Zugang zu fairen finanziellen Dienstleistungen. Leistungen wie MyWagePay und die Mipango App will genau das ändern. Gegründet von jungen Frauen, MyWagePay und Mipango App sind Unternehmen, das nicht nur auf Innovation setzt, sondern auch auf soziale Wirkung. Also, wie gestaltet man als junge Unternehmerin ein nachhaltiges Geschäftsmodell, das Millionen erreicht? Genau darüber sprechen wir jetzt. Wir werden auch einen Blick auf beide Visionen für die Zukunft der afrikanischen Fintech-Landschaft werfen. Mehr dazu auf Unfiltered Podcast auf unserer Alex Studios. Mein Name ist Nima Jadama. Welcome, ladies, Beth and Mwambu. Beth and Agnes, thank you so very much for joining me talk about the new image of Africa, to talk about your businesses and how you are transforming Africa. My first question goes to Beth. Beth, now let's start from the beginning. What actually inspired you to launch the MyWagePay, and what problems were you actually trying to solve?
Thank you, Nima, for that.
I'm not hearing you. You're muted, I think.
Thank you, Nima, for that question. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. You can go ahead.
Perfect. So we came up with MyWagePay after realizing that according to a World Bank report of 2020, there are 44 million SMEs in Africa that contribute to 90% of the jobs and 80% of their businesses. However, 65% of these businesses do not go beyond 3 years. Reason being, they do not have capital for their businesses. And when they turn to traditional banks, the banks will prefer companies with big substantial assets as well as a very good track financial history. And that is why we realized that these businesses go now to Shiro, which charge them very high interest rate, as high as 400% APR. And therefore we came up with a platform that is able to provide finance for them instantly.
Yeah, thank you so very much for that. You've actually spoke about creating a more open and accessible financial system. What does financial wellness mean to you, especially in the African context?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question as well. When you're talking about financial wellness, especially for the African context, it goes financial finance goes beyond just accessing their money. So are you able to give these people an opportunity? Are you giving them a platform where they not only are able to save, they can be able to build, they can be able to invest, and they can also be empowered. They will get an opportunity to be empowered and to get security. So for us, it is not only relying on lending, it is just also helping these people be able to build generational wealth for themselves and also for their children.
Thank you very much. On that note, we actually have a trailer, a short video about My Wage Pay. We will play this for a few seconds and then we continue with the interview. Eins Miller, bitte. So thank you very much. But actually, you know, we've seen in the trailer, like especially statistics and numbers that you have uplifted, supported. As a female or a woman entrepreneur in the finance industry in Africa, there must be challenges that you actually encounter. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced early on as a fintech founder, and how did you overcome these challenges?
One of the challenges that we had was access to capital, because when we were starting, we needed to have collateral to be able to access loans from the banks. And for me, at that point, I was doing my master's, I could not afford to access. I didn't have collateral, I didn't have land, I didn't have a car, I didn't have all that. So how I overcame that is I looked for co-founders who are second-time founders, and they helped us raise the first money to be able to lend and test our product to get to product market fit.
Thank you very much for that. Like I said, I am with two innovative women joining me from Kenya and Tanzania, and now I would be talking to Agnes, who is actually joining us from Tanzania, one of the trailblazers behind the Mipango Mwanzo app. Now, Agnes, can you tell us the story behind the Mipango app? What actually inspired you to co-build a financial wellness app, especially targeting women in Tanzania?
Okay, thank you for the question. So initially, it started off as a personal experience where me and my co-founder were struggling in managing our day-to-day expenses. So Mipango app started off as a budgeting stroke investment stroke saving app. So we did that for the past 3 years, where we enabled at least 23,000 people to be able to keep track of their expenses, manage their budget, and save as they work towards their financial goals. So early or late last year, we realized that we could not monetize through the previous solution. So people loved what the app was offering, but they were not willing to pay. Now, in order to be able to run the business, or rather run the solution and make sure that we are investor ready, or rather we are attractive enough for the investors, we needed to not only have traction, but also show revenue. So late last year, we did research. We asked our existing customers what they like about the solution, because the solution had so much aspect in it that was making it a little bit busy. And they liked, or rather chose the saving aspect of the application, which is the goal-oriented type of saving, which early this year we decided to pivot the whole solution to a digital, or rather a merry-go-round type of saving for our customers. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We also have a trailer about the Mipango app, how it started, just to have a more background of what the Mipango Mwitsu app is actually all about. We will play this trailer, Agnes, and then we continue with the interview.
Hi, my name is Agnes Model, co-founder of Mipango FinTech. Now, Mipango FinTech has built a merry-go-round digitalized saving platform that enables women to be able to save as they achieve their financial goals. Now, this is a system that women are already used of. What we did is just digitalize the process or the platform so that we can make it more easier and safer for our customers. Women make up to 90% of the 1,600 active saving groups. Now, these groups are very powerful, but they face challenges such as poor or lack of accountability by some members, miscontribution, poor security, and sometimes even fraud. Now, these challenges are very strong, and they act as a stumbling block to most women to embark on this journey to save and achieve their financial goals. Now, Mipango took this initiative and piggybacked on the communal strength of their saving system and built an AI-powered platform that enables this system to be able to be more safer, secure, and providing a seamless journey for women to achieve their financial goals as they embark on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Agnes. Your goal, actually, you mentioned that is actually to reach 1 million women across East Africa within 5 years. That's quite ambitious, but exciting as well. I'm interested to know, like, what kind of steps are you taking to achieve this goal?
Well, as you said, it's ambitious, yeah. Well, our strategy combines technology with the community that is surrounding us. We're not likely going to leverage on the trust and the structure of the merry-go-round saving groups, which has already been existing for a while, but digitize them to remove the risk of mismanagement of funds and scale to the 1 million women that we initially wanted to target. So we have 3 steps that we, as a company, or rather as a business, are going to take so that we can be able to reach the 1 million people, or rather 1 million women. So the first thing would be a strong partnership with women groups, which is actually a very big thing, I think, in Tanzania, or rather East Africa. Partner with NGOs and trusted community leaders. These are people that, these are leaders that are really, really trusted in the community atmosphere, where people believe what they say, people, or rather, go and seek advice from them. So we will have to convert these community leaders to become champions, or rather Mipango champions. The second thing is making sure that the tool is user-friendly. It's still technology, and some people might be a bit behind when it comes to interacting with an app or a solution. Rather, our main goal is to make sure that it is user-friendly and can accommodate both Swahili and English speakers, because in Tanzania, majority of the people are speaking Swahili language, which is our local language. And the last or the third thing is to make sure that the use of we use the data in a smart way, making sure that it's personalized in the sense that it actually speaks to your journey, it actually speaks to the goals that you have created for yourselves in order to save and achieve them. So basically.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like you said, 1 million is your target, and you're mostly focusing on women. Why do you think it's actually important to focus on women in particular? And you mentioned of challenges, yes, but what are some of the challenges that women in Tanzania in particular face when it comes to financial accessibility and financial literacy, which is quite a huge topic, right?
Yeah. So in Tanzania, or rather East Africa and Africa in general, women are the backbone of the informal economy, yet they face barriers. Limited access to bank accounts, credit, loans, I mean, they want to apply for this, or rather they want to access this, but they cannot do that. And this is because many of them are excluded and lack collateral or other formal employment. So focusing on women as Mipango means unlocking an entire layer of economic potential at Mipango. And we believe that women are financially empowered. I mean, families and communities thrive through them. So it's kind of like a multiplier effect where one influences the other person.
Thank you very much. And now to you, Beth, again. Now, the African fintech space is quite growing rapidly. What do you think makes MyWagePay stands out in such a competitive environment?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. In Kenya and even in Africa, we've had even mobile money, because for us we are mobile lenders and we are in the digital space. And what makes us stand out is that we not only we have an embedded platform, so what we are referring to as embedded finance, such that our customers can be able to integrate into our system. We don't have to have an app for every product. We just embed into their system or their ecosystem. We use alternative data to credit score our customers, and we also have an internal credit scoring model, and that makes it very competitive, because traditionally banks have been using collateral like land. They have been using something like cars just to make sure that they secure their loans. But for us, we are using alternative data. We are looking at the mobile transaction history. We are looking at their cash flows, and we are using the data that has been there for like maybe 3-4 years, and that has been helping us to credit score our customers. And as you saw, even as we were starting, we were at 96% collection. Yeah, we not only do that, then finally we also offer capital to businesses that are operating within our ecosystem, and that's a plus for us.
Yeah, thank you very much. But your company, MyWagePay, has actually, built a community of over 1.2 million people. How important is digital engagement in building trust in financial services today for you?
I would call that social license. Because what do people say about you? And by building a community, an online community, it tells us that people can trust us. We have credibility. People are loyal to us because they follow us, because they know that we do more than just what other people are doing. And this ones create loyalty. So you find that customers are more willing to talk to, they are more willing to engage with someone who understands their needs. You are able to see their feedback instantly. You create touch points where customers can be able to communicate to you directly. They don't have to they don't have to talk within themselves. They give you instant feedback online. And with that, now you're able to rebuild your model. You are able to improve on the user and customer experience. And that has been very good for us. Yes.
Thank you very much for that. To you, Agnes. Agnes, how does the Mipango app ensures that its users, many of whom are first-time digital financial service users, you mentioned this, feel safe and empowered while using the app?
Okay, so we know many of our users are first-time digital financing or finance users. That's why when we were designing Mipango Michezo, which is the current version of the app, we decided to make it more familiar and reflecting how women already save together. So we just duplicated what already exists in a non-digital way and made it digital. So we added some safeguard like transparency, contribution tracking, and instant notifications. We also prioritize data protection and build user trust through this, and making sure that the language, as I initially said, is simple, and it's a Swahili language, and was trying to shy away from the financial jargons, which normally even scare a lot of people. Even it scares me as well. So empowerment comes when users feel in control. That's what I believe. And so we make sure they see where their money is going at every single step.
Yeah, thank you very much. Gender equality, when we spoke about gender equality, it also means a financial inclusion for women. And on that note, Agnes, I want to know, like, what role does financial literacy play in achieving gender equality in East Africa, perhaps focusing on Tanzania, and how does your app support that?
Well, yeah, financial literacy is a gateway to gender equality, definitely. So as Mipango, when we think of it as when women understand money management, credit, and investment, they can make their own independent decision. And that can affect not only their livelihoods, but also their children's education, their community stability. So our app doesn't just digitize savings, it also embeds financial education in small practical lessons. So we meet different women on a day-to-day basis, and where we walk with them on a journey to building confidence when it comes to financial journey, and we walk with them step by step.
That's quite interesting. And what are some of the, let's say, unique technical challenges you've faced in building a financial solution, a fintech solution, sorry, for a primarily informal financial environment?
Well, it is very challenging, that's for sure. But I think one of the biggest challenge is designing for a primarily informal financial environment, where trust is often built face-to-face. I mean, even when M-Pesa, which is the mobile money transfer, was firstly introduced, people were a bit skeptical on sending money to someone's phone number and then expecting them to receive the money. So that itself took a little bit of time for people to get used to it. So we were not expecting anything better. But that means that our technology had to reflect social dynamics, not just transactions, connectivity, but rather we have invested in lightweight or easy-to-use interface that works even with low bandwidth. Another challenge is probably protecting users' data in an environment where the data protection laws are still, evolving. So we have had to be a little bit, I would say, proactive when it comes to that.
Many startups, especially in Africa, struggle with funding and scaling. How have you navigated those hurdles as a women-led business?
We have had a difficult time, but we're very positive when it comes to that. So as a women-led business, I would say access to funding can be quite hard because the ecosystem is still biased. We have navigated this through bootstrapping for the longest, and we have also tried to lean on partnerships and grants that have saved us quite a lot of times. And showing results rather than just pitching ideas has been the motto that we hold behind when it comes to running this business. And we have also deliberately maybe put ourselves in a mission to build credibility through different pilots, testimonials from our customers, and impact stories. And honestly, I would say resilience plays a big part in this journey when it comes to raising or accessing funds. And when we normally say that when one door closes, the other one opens, or rather you build another one for yourself.
Yeah, if one door closes, another one opened, or you build another one for yourself. Now, we're talking about building financial bridges, the rise of inclusive fintech in Africa. And on that note, to you, Bert, now, what does I mean, we're trying to portray a new image of Africa and the entrepreneurship. What does actually the new image of Africa mean to you? And how do you see the continent transforming through entrepreneurship and technology?
Yeah, thank you, Nima, for that question. The new image of Africa, to me, is about shifting the narrative from that of dependency to a narrative of possibility and innovation. Yeah, for a very long time, I think it has been a tradition where we look at Africa like a place where there is poverty, they rely on aid from the Western countries, the country is very unstable. But what we are saying right now is that continent that now has changed. It is being led by women, youth, there is technology, there is entrepreneurship. So in short, we are trying to rewrite the story of what has been happening real time. And when you're looking at the technology, in my own perspective, there has been a lot of transformation. I look at an example of M-Pesa in 2007. M-Pesa has been processing over 60% of the country's GDP through mobile money transactions. And what does that mean? That in as much as we look at the banking in Kenya, it's like 70% of the people are not able, not 70% are able to access traditional banks. But we are looking at the mobile money, above 80% of the people, they are able to access capital, that they are able to access money, either through mobile money or through M-Pesa transaction. So that shows you that there's a lot that has been done in as much as technology is concerned, as far as the image of Africa is concerned. So the unbanked right now can be able to be banked through the technology and through that disruption. And also, we have seen a lot of entrepreneurship happening. There are over 60% of the African population that are under 25. And if you look at the statistics of 2022, Africa received $6.5 billion in venture funding in 2022. So that has really changed how we view Africa 101%. Yeah. So we are looking at a new image of Africa where women can lead, youth can be able to lead. Yeah. There is technology, there is change. Yeah, that would be my story for Africa today.
Yeah, there is technology, there is change. There is, of course, a new image of Africa, and now the narratives are transforming, mostly led by women, as you said, Bert. But what actually, now, on that note, let's say women, how are you actually empowering all the women who aspire to also, get into the fintech industry in Kenya?
Okay, so through mentorship, number one. And in 2022, I was appointed as an African Berlin Network Ambassador for ecosystem in Kenya and Berlin. And what does that mean? We are mentoring people who want to enter into the fintech space, people who want to do disruptive technology, people who want to be entrepreneurs. Number two, we have a product that we've launched in Kisumu County. Currently, we are serving 1,000 women. And what we realized is that women were exchanging sex for fish, sorry. So we realized that there's so much that we can do to help this woman who is giving her body to be able to access fish for food. Like, we want to change that story of zero hunger and poverty and empower these women to start their own businesses. And therefore, we are currently funding those women in Kisumu so that they can be able to employ more women, they can be able to empower to feed their children, they can be able to educate their children. And we are not only giving them the money, we are also offering financial education so that by being financially literate, they can be able to plan, they can invest, and they can even save for the future and have emergency funding. Yeah, that is what we are doing for women in Africa, and not only in Africa, and especially in Kenya.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And what is your long-term vision for My Wage Pay? And how do you intend to expand your impact beyond Kenya and about?
Okay. So our long-term vision is that we want to build a digital bank, and we want to partner with the payment service providers like Safaricom, Visa, MasterCard, to be able to reach to more people, reach to more SMEs, fund women, and a cheaper, more affordable and accessible credit. That is what we are looking forward to do.
Thank you very much, Beth. That was really interesting and well said. Now to you, Agnes. Looking ahead, what actually, where do you see the future of African fintech heading, especially in relation to empowering women as a women business-led?
I believe that the future lies in solutions that bridge the both formal and informal economies. So women and youth in informal sector are still largely underserved. That is very true. And fintech can create tailored tools for them. So I believe that from digital savings to credit scoring to insurance, I see Africa fintechs leading globally in community-driven and innovation, just by copy-pasting what the Western culture is doing. But as me, I think that the next step, the next wave will be inclusive, local first, and much more scalable.
Apropos the Western perspective, how do you think the Western world actually perceive Africa as a whole, especially in the financial economic industry?
I think they do perceive it as we're quite behind. I would agree we're a little bit, maybe 2, 3, 4 steps behind, that's for sure, because, I mean, taking an example of what we are currently solving, which is the goal-oriented type of savings. I mean, if you look at Tanzania itself, above 60% of the women don't even have bank accounts. And they're already accustomed to saving, or rather spending in the traditional type of way or the informal type of way. So I mean, there's a lot of groundwork to be done. That's for a fact. We can learn a little bit from the countries that are surrounding us, based on the fact that I'd like to assume that what would probably work in Kenya or Uganda might as well work in Tanzania. So pretty much, yeah, I think that.
A lot of groundwork is needed to be done, you said. Are you doing any groundwork in empowering other women who are looking up to you or want to penetrate in the fintech industry in, let's say, in Tanzania? Like, are you also empowering women?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I am part of a young youth female-led innovation school, whereby I always tell them that my advice is to make sure that whatever idea you have, you need to start small, which is kind of like an advice that I wish I was told a few years back. I mean, perfection can be attained as you go. So I normally tell them to start now. Don't wait until everything is perfect. They might as well just start by testing the idea with real users, and learn quickly, adapt, and seek for mentors and community that can support you. And something that actually stood out a few years back is that I encountered a certain specific individual, and she was struggling with gathering her thoughts and making sure that she has an actual idea that would save a specific problem in their community. And I told her not to be afraid to ask for help because she was really, really struggling. And something that I've also had to learn very, very in a very difficult way, because Mipango is your product. I mean, it's more like your firstborn, rather your baby. So you want to push it alone. You know, you sometimes you act as if you know what it actually needs, that it needs, but it's okay to ask for collaboration. It's okay to let someone else at least help you work on it, or rather try to also avoid emotionally connecting yourself with the product. It might help you or help your product grow. So that is something that I normally like to point it out.
Nice, nice. Agnes, and what is one myth about Africa, African women, or African innovation that you did like to debunk once and for all?
I think, in my essence, I would say fear. I think we are very skeptical, or rather, we're very scared of trying things. We normally think, especially, okay, so I'll talk in the instance of Tanzanians. So unlike maybe Kenya or Uganda, we're a little bit behind when it comes to using English language. So when you walk into communities, especially in the infrastructure of where we are right now in terms of innovation, the people that we work with are fluent in English. I mean, you cannot explain your product, rather you have to explain it in English. So that itself is a setback for most innovative Tanzanians. Language is a big barrier, but rather I normally emphasize in the sense of I think if you have a good product, it will sell itself, no matter what kind of language you'd use, French, English, Swahili, whatever. If it's good, it's good. If it's addressing a community, if there's a problem, if it's addressing the exact problem, it will be pointed out. So the fear, I think people should try to step up a little bit and be more resilient. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Be more resilient. That's a good advice. We will still ask for your advice. But what do you think, or what's your perspective about, let's say, the Western world that perceived Africa differently? What do you think?
I would want to debunk the fact that we've been saying that we are here to wait to be saved. But what I would say about African women is that we are innovators. We are not just passive participants of the future. We are the guys who are authoring that. We are the ones who are making it happen. If you look at the innovation in Africa, people, we have always been thought to be waiting, to be saved, to be helped. But look at what is happening. Like 26% of the female adults in Africa are in entrepreneurial activities. Look at what happened in the mobile money. M-Pesa was the first innovation in the world to bring about mobile money. And currently they have 50 million customers. So we are talking about 50 million people are able to access mobile money through their phone. That's technology. We are trying to debunk the fact that people have always been thinking that African women or Africans are just waiting to be helped. But in the reality, we are at the forefront of creating solutions to help the world with the most pressing problems. It is not, we are not just sitting down. We have women in health tech. We have women building companies that are addressing challenges like access to credit. For example, MyWagePay. We started MyWagePay in 2021 from a female-led organization. Currently, the company has been able to disperse $6 million through our platform. Wow. So we are saying it is not what people were saying about these innovations. African women and Africa can be able to be the pioneers of innovations and technology. So it should be said, and everybody should know that we are not just sitting down there. we are trained to solve the world challenges, and we have the solutions. All what we are lacking is sometimes support, but with the right support, the right networking, the right collaboration, we can make it happen.
Wow. African women are leading, African women are authoring, rewriting narratives, and of course, trying to pave way to a more financial inclusion for women. You heard it from Bert, from Agnes, and if I may say, Bert is a leader named among top 10 in the Westerwelle Foundation Young Founders Program in 2022. And under her leadership, My Wage Pay has secured a digital credit provider licensing that raised $450,000 in debt investment. She has also built an online community of over 1.2 million and leads a team of 11 people. That is definitely leading and authoring. And Agnes is also another empowering leader who has actually a legal background and fuel a passion for bringing technology and social impact. She continues to advocate for equitable financial systems and build transformative products that put women at the center of economic opportunities. Now, to both of you, because we would still, we don't have much time, we would wrap up soon. But what's next for you, for My Wage Pay, and what should we be watching for?
Okay, so we are looking forward to building a digital bank, as you've said, and we want to work with payment gateways and payment service providers that have been recognized. And one of them is Safaricom. We also want to work with Visa and MasterCard to be able to offer the underserved SMEs in Africa credit at a more affordable and efficient way. If that happens in the next 5 years, then we should be able to build a digital bank.
Thank you very much. Agnes, like I said, you are a trailblazer who has worked and earned a widespread recognition, including being named as the leading women in technology in Tanzania in 2023. Second runner-up for the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung Young Entrepreneurs Competition, Africa Startup Regional Award 2022. This is all due to your financial technology, contribution to financial technology and women's empowerment. What are we looking up from you, from Mipango app?
Okay, so currently, as I initially said, we're about to launch the next phase of our platform. Our main goal in this journey for now is to be able to enable these women to save towards their goals. We have over more than 600 customers at the moment. We have not yet launched a pilot, but at the moment we have over 600,000, 600 women that are using the platform and trying to save towards their goal. So we're looking at it from an angle of, so our journey, which is now, it's a bit funny because our journey is also to become a digital bank at the end of it all.
Wow.
Just like Beth said. So we're looking forward in the next 3 years to transition to a digital bank. But at the moment, our main focus is to work with as much financial institutions as we can, because at the moment we don't have a license to hold money, and these people are saving and withdrawing on a day-to-day basis. So our goal is to secure more partnerships with financial institutions as we build enough data so that we can be able to raise enough money and attain our PSP license, and on the other end, at the end of the day, become a digital bank. So the journey is extremely long.
The journey is extremely long, and I am so hopeful that you will make it. We look forward to the digital bank. And Agnes, are you also working towards extending your wings beyond Tanzania or East Africa?
Oh,
Do you have
yeah,
plans in the
most
offing?
definitely. Yeah, most definitely. I think our immediate country would be Rwanda and Kenya. I'm aware of the same type of saving that's happening in Kenya. I think it's the Chama type of saving. So these are the two immediate countries that we're looking to expand to. And then after we have mastered the blueprint in East Africa, then we can scale our wings to Western Africa and Southern.
Wow. We look forward to that. And to you, Beth, do you also look forward, expanding your business beyond Kenya and East Africa?
Yes, we do plan to do the expansion. We've done a benchmark in Ghana in 2023 because, a long time we will be able to go to West Africa, and maybe we would start with Ghana or Nigeria. Then we also went to Rwanda in 2023 as well, just to understand the Rwandese ecosystem. And recently this year, we went to South Africa just to understand how it's happening. So we've been able to do the benchmarking in preparation for the technology, the regulatory framework that is needed, and of course, be able to raise funds to scale. So we look forward to doing the scaling as well.
Wow.
But we want to start with East Africa.
Thank you very much. And lastly, what advice would you give to a young African woman who have an idea or solution but don't know where to start?
Do I go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I would advise these young entrepreneurs to join programs like accelerator programs. We have the Westerwell Foundation that accepts startups in Africa, in Latin America, and Asia. Then we also have other accelerator programs in Kenya. We have Sote Hub. We have other accelerator programs like the Women Forum, Global Forum. I happened to be one of the top 10 in 2023 who attended the Paris Global Forum. And what they do is that they train you through the accelerator program, and they select the best 10 around the world. So I believe with those platforms, they are able now to get the skills that they need. They are going to be trained on how they get to product market fit, and to change their idea into a business and now scale their business. And also, at least during the demo days, they can also pitch to investors who can fund their businesses. And for them that totally don't know even where to go, there is all the LinkedIn profile. You can go online and check on what the requirement is, and at least be able to reach to the right people in the ecosystem.
Hopefully you will reach to the right people. Agnes, something just came to my mind. You actually have a legal background, from legal to entrepreneurship. What is unique in fintech that actually make you to, leave a career you were supposed to pursue or already did and get into finance?
First of all, trust me, it was not very easy, especially when it came to my parents. They didn't get it.
Of course.
But I think the only thing that stood out during that journey, I realized that I had passion when it comes to innovation. If you take a look of a person who has studied law is more of something that it's static. Like everything, there's no creativity around law. It's just law. It's just law. So the creativity side of innovation, and most likely when it comes to finance, I come from a background of my tribe is Chaga. They say we like money. So coming from that background, I wanted to make it in life very quickly. But again, as I said initially, that the whole idea came as a result of personal experience. So when I tried to analyze what type of financial problems that I'm facing, or other things that are acting as stumbling block for me to attain what I initially wanted to attain, I realized that maybe there's a way I could build a solution that could address that specific problem. So it was hard, I would say, because I had no background on how to run a business. I had no background on how to run a tech business, to be specific. So it took a lot of me from having to learn and making sure that I'm in an environment where I get to feed from people who actually have already been doing that or are doing that so that I could learn. There was a lot of learning that had to happen for the first, I would say 1 or 2 years. But luckily enough, my co-founder was a second-time co-founder. And she did a lot when it comes to, having me to catch up with the day-to-day running business activities. So yeah, there's a lot to learn. It was not easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. And what advice would you give to a young African woman who actually have a great idea or solution but don't know where to start?
I think I'd say the same thing that I said initially. You should start small. Start where you are. Because I started I remember in my bedroom during the Corona period, everybody was staying at home, and that's where I started. So I'll tell them to start where they are, start small. Nothing has to, the whole idea doesn't have to make sense at some point. It doesn't have to be perfect. Surround yourself with a community of people that are in the same industry as you, especially if you're a first-time entrepreneur or you're tapping into a market that you probably didn't have a background in. Leverage mostly on community support, and make sure that you collaborate with people. Don't regardless that your idea is your idea, but partnership is what it go to the next level. So don't try to hold everything to yourself, like trying to execute everything by yourself or build everything from scratch by yourself. Collaboration would be one of the biggest thing that you should look into as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Apropos partnership and collaboration, hopefully that will be my last question. In what ways do you think can the global tech and business world better support or partner with African innovators like yourself?
Apart from funding, which is that's kind of like the biggest thing that always stand out. Apart from raising money and them funding us, I think the other thing would be partnership. I think last year or early last year, I was in a specific accelerator in Vienna, in Europe, and by then we were still building the initial application, which is the budgeting, saving, investment application. And there were a few solutions that were actually doing that in Europe. And we walked on a journey to actually make sure that we partner and we make sure that everything is executed as planned. Sadly enough, when we came back, we had to reroute in terms of pivoting to something else. But we did a lot. We tackled a lot of things that we initially were struggling in terms of AI. We wanted to make sure that our platform was AI driven, the personalization and all that. And that partnership was going to cater to that. And again, I would just put heavy on the partnership. The funding is also something, but I'd say heavy on the partnership.
Heavy on the partnership. And with the partnership, hopefully we will give Africa a new image. What does the new image of Africa mean to you personally?
I think as an African entrepreneur, the new image would mean shifting the narrative by showing innovation is not imported. That's for a fact. It's actually homegrown. And we are actually really, really solving real problems. Taking an example of me, it's something that I experienced with solutions that work in the context of an African culture. So by building technology that empower communities, we are proving that Africa is not just a place of just need, but a hub of a real innovation and resilience.
Yeah. Innovation and resilience. Thank you very much, Agnes, for that. We would end up with BAT. We have like less than 5 minutes to wrap up. But again, the same question to you. In what ways do you think the global tech and business world could actually or would actually better support or partner with African innovators like yourself?
So one of them is through collaboration, and as that's just collaboration and partnership. I will just insist on what Agnes has said, because through partnering and through collaboration, we are able to, to forge forward. We are able to build more resilient companies. We are able to solve African problems, and we are also able to reach out to people that we could not have been able to reach out to, especially for us who are disadvantaged. The fact that we have not been, how can I put it? The fact that sometimes we have not been able to, we are not privileged enough to be able to have mentors that have done these businesses before. So if you have a mentor and somebody who has already done it before, and they work with you through this journey, and they partner with you, then it becomes better every other time. So collaboration, and partnership.
Collaboration will bring a new image to Africa. Finally, what does the new image of Africa mean to you, Beth?
So when I'm looking at the new image of Africa, I'm looking at an Africa where people are able to build their own technology. An Africa where they are not relying on aid. An Africa where people are not waiting to be saved. An Africa where women can lead. An Africa where youth can start businesses and build businesses. An Africa where they are not only depending on help, but they can build on something that can empower and even build people. An Africa where there will be zero hunger. An Africa where they will be able to access healthcare. We are going to build solutions around food. We are going to support our economy. We are going to support our technology. We are going to support our own enterprise.
Yeah, I think that was the network. However, thank you so very much, Beth. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was it on Building Financial Bridges, the rise of inclusive fintech in Africa, on the special threefold interview series that we are doing. We're actually talking to or speaking to African innovators across the East and Southern Africa. It has been an amazing conversation with these two amazing women that are leading, the African fintech in their own spaces. That was Beth Mwambua and Agnes Mololi of Mipango app and the My Wage Pay. You've heard about their journey, about their innovation, about their perspective, and about how we can reshape the narratives of African entrepreneurship or fintech. That's all we have for you on today's edition of the Unfiltered Podcast. My name is Nima Jadama. Join us for our next edition on Giving Africa a New Image. Das war's von unserer heutigen Sendung des Unfiltered Podcasts. Mein Name ist Nima Jadama. Wir haben über finanzielle Brücken bauen, der Aufstieg der inklusiver Fintech in Afrika gesprochen. Ich habe mit zwei innovative Frauen aus Tansania und Kenia über ihre Entrepreneurship Wege gesprochen, über Afrika, über Fintech und so weiter. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.